I'm trying to restart this stream and have it go live and share the link. Okay, there we go. There's live. There's the link. Okay, here we are again, 12:11, and that's playing through, right? Yeah. Okay. Hey everybody. I'm sorry about that. I thought I was streaming, and I actually, well, I'm sure you can believe I thought I was doing it. Max is here. Hi, Mr. Melvis. Thanks, guys. Yeah, dude, I was using my streaming software for recording offline just before this, and somehow, I don't know why, but that broke the stream. So to get us back on track, I just started talking about, I went into Discord and did a quick reminder asking everybody to please set your threads to be a 7-day thread rather than just expire one day. And I'm not going to remind you about that again because you basically know. The point is that you can see your comments and everything instead of losing them. And then audio's fine. All right, here we go. Then I started doing a quick live tutorial on how to create a scene where there's a drum break. Like when we're listening to music and you mute the kick drum to make a transition. I was just showing how to program that in live, but I don't want to spend any more time on that because it's a lot more fun to schedule new video streams to teach. So the message here is that I'm going to be adding new live videos during the week, maybe at noon or something like that, where I show you applied techniques of how I use production techniques in my own tracks. And there are Ableton projects on my member site where you can download the project and learn how to do it by playing with the same sounds or the same effects rack to do the same technique, learn by doing it inside live, and watch on video where we can interact and you can ask questions and stuff like that. So I think that will be fun. And I'm not going to try and do this lesson again right now because I just spent 10 minutes and I got really into it. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm not on. Durr. So let me just open up my Spectrum Analyzer. Spectrum for track feedback. Joink. And we'll get into the music, which is where everybody wants to be. We got a lot of tracks for today, and DJ Waters put up like 19 different songs. So this is loading up. Thanks for being patient and sharing the link. Got the Spectrum. Got it on screen. Okay. And we're going to start out with some Matt Schultz. Version 2, slightly. Yeah, now we're cooking. All right. There we go. And phone is on vibrate. I'm pushing up this broadcast level. And let's see. Okay, change log is you took away the delay after the drop. And this one was pretty much almost done last week. That drop sounds great. I mean, the way the kick drum comes in. Oh, Max, I'm curious how your M1 is doing with your VSTs. That sounds interesting. Sub bass bump. Yeah, panning is cool. Kick drum is great. Turn my headphones up. Matt, I'm thinking this is ready for mastering. Yeah, the mini drum roll is like, it's cool. Good pacing, arrangement, spacing and pacing. Voodoo Wax, is that Etienne? Haven't seen you for a while, hi. Matt, I like the cymbals in here. And the shaker, or tambourine. That's cool. That's a new percussion we didn't hear earlier. Oh, cool. Tice is here too. Yeah, it is groovy. Nice vibe. 120. A little faster than some of the other stuff. Morton, good comment. So a little bit of extra shine and definition with some mastering. I'm feeling like they could use, you know, some overall compression to just feel like it's the mid-range synth thing is a little bit like louder, but I don't want you to change the mix at all. I can just feel like the kick is nice and bumpy. The mids can come up a little bit of mastering EQ, and then overall level. I think you're done. 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. It could be longer. This track felt really good, but it's long enough this way. We come down to the ending. Nice work, man. For version 2, that's pretty solid. Who are you guys talking about? Tika Man, Murkoff, Louis Dupree, how you doing? How you doing? Nice. Okay, I just heard a glitch in my playback. I don't know if I had it. Never mind. The stream stopped. It is what it is. All right, Matt Schultz. Get some claps. That sounds great, man. Send that out for mastering. I think we're done. And John Madison coming at you with the feels. I think this is version 2. Nice sound design right from the start. Filters sound best when they're moving. Okay, I'm gonna leave the output, the broadcast faders right here and see what level it drops at. This is gonna drop some bass right now, ready? All right, good. So the intro of the track told me how loud I wanted to hear that opening sound, and then you did a really good job to match the bass so that I didn't have to change the broadcast output when the bass dropped. In other words, the mid-range and bass relationship are pretty good. This scratchy sound I'm wondering about right here. It's moving around a lot and it has something. I'm glad that sound stopped. Let me just go back here. There's some. It's a little bit scratchy. I would take that one sound, solo it, and look for a couple places to notch out some EQ sweep spots. It's a little bit brittle or shrill, and you don't want that to be too scratchy in people's ears up above 1.5K up to 4,000 or something. And I felt a lot more comfortable when that sound cut out, so that's a good effect sound to add energy and create tension. And then when you cut it out, it's like you can drop deeper into the feels. Good, good, good. So we're at like 148 or 74. This is great. I like the bassline phrasing. Coming up with those bubbles right here. Is this the track where you're talking about the B section, how to get out of the A section into the B section? Because he just did it really good right there. I totally feel like we naturally got to the B section like in a really cool way. That is nice work with the portamento glide on the bass line. So I'm seeing that scratchy sound right there, about 1.2K. Somewhere around that range, 1.3, 1.2, it's got that scratchy. Ah, good. And that was cool that the scratchy sound came in to kind of make it tense, get us back to the A section, and then it left when we came back in. That works. Feels a lot more natural this time going between the A and the B section. So now we're back to the intro, or the theme. There it is. Yep, 1.2 kilohertz on that sound. Just put a notch EQ in there. I love the low end. That triple bass phrase thing after the sweep right here. Bam. That's very cool. There's a little like a wood block with reverb. That doo-doo, that could come up a little bit louder. A little bit on the left, I'm hearing it. That's the main character right there. Yeah, I think that little wood block could come up a little louder. Because it's cool, but it's kind of just a little bit too far away, you know? And that little ring. It's like scraping a stick on across the bell part of the ride cymbal. That could come up a little bit on the right. That high pitch sound to kind of balance the wood block on the left. So you have high frequency elements on the left and the right, and they're different elements to keep the high frequency zone kind of balanced inside your head. Good, good, good. Phrase, I mean, the structure is great this time. It just keeps going through the right places. I want to say no on the bass. No. Don't take out the low end of that bass, because the bass line where it has the glide and then it goes do 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 do. That's like such a cool part of the track. I think at the very end it would work really well that you cut the beat and that says the message. It's the end. But let us have that last boom 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 boom. Don't high pass filter the bass at the end right here. Keep the bass all the way and all the way right here. Boom 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 boom. That would be a sick ending to just end with a poof. Yeah. Nice fade out. Definitely cool chord progressions. You really did a good job to get us from the A section over to the B section. Let's check it out again. Okay, that time it was really good that you high pass filtered the bass and got rid of the low end and it sent us up into dreaminess, you know? Like it was like, oh, part one is ending, and it really worked well to kind of like take away the emotional pattern we were in with the bass. Like you broke the attachment to the bass. It's like, oh shit, it's changing. And we went up into dreamland or the feels with a different chord. So that in that place, changing the bass sound was good. Because we get attached to the melody, and now we shift over here, and the bass comes back, right? And right here, cutting out the bass line to get us out of the B section back to the A section was really cool. Because it broke the harmonic like zone we were in. It broke our association with that tonality, gave us a little bit of space, and came back in with a new chord. And it felt like a really smooth, comfortable change. So that was really cool. So the theory here is the bass line keeps you anchored in the harmony and keeps you anchored in the song emotionally, physically if you're dancing. Removing the bass line was a really good way to change between song sections when you wanted to go to a different chord progression. And at the very end, we don't want to end on a sad note of no bass, like, meh. So we're here one more time. What does my shirt say? It says, we need more ass, B. We need more bass. This is from Japanese hardcore DJ Tanukichi, who I met in Bratislava. And he plays like DJ Waters type shit, like crazy. And that was the show where somebody was playing tracks off their phone through a massive sound system, and they were not doing gain staging correctly in their phone. And then the phone rang and blew out the subwoofer amp, and they had to fix it. It sucked. So what you don't want to do is have your SoundCloud tab at a low volume and then jack up the amp and then have everything else in your phone super loud, because it's not going to be good. All right. John, I hope you got those notes. Basically keep the bass all the way in at the end on the low section, and that was super good. It's 12:30 already. I don't know, we might have to leave some tracks for Saturday, but we're going to do Ed Vizcarra, who's out in California. So he's maybe having a little morning moment. Blah, blah, blah. Steve talks too much, and play. I love these kind of beats. So crackly. Jens, okay, a new Neon Dust. All right, all right. This sounds like stuff off the Drop in Science record label from like the early 2000s. Let's see what happens when the bass line comes in. See what the notes are on here. Okay, so this is going to be part of a 4-track EP going out, breakbeat driven, and not finished yet. Going to get some more sound effects and risers. So far, the beats are sounding nicely, smooth, balanced, variations, and the different samples and sounds are really fitting together really well. All right, good comments from Ben Hunt, Paul in there. And Ed is saying in the notes that he didn't compress it and he's got some distortion on the sub. That's kind of interesting. Sheppers. I love how the low end is structured in here. Let me turn this down a little bit. What I'm looking at is the sub bass has a peak down here at 40 hertz. Real nice and low. And look at where the kick drum is when the kick is by itself. Let me go back a little bit. Right there around 100, like 110 down to 95. Perfect example of where you have one sound in the sub range. It's the sub bass this time, and you move the kick drum up to like around 100 hertz or something, which is still plenty low enough to deliver some low end. And you separate your low end elements. What's the BPM on this? It's a little slower. I think it's like 165, maybe 175. Like 170. Yeah, I noticed there's some space for transitions and risers. The background pad right here at 3 minutes could be louder. Ooh. That space atmosphere. That pad level I think could come up because the beats are so crisp and tracking. Yeah, it sounds like Aphex Twin or even almost like Square Pusher a little bit. This pad. Definitely the synth pads could be louder, Ed, when you see this. Because those are like a nice liquid vibe, you know? That little bass sweep that just happened could be, if that could be louder and have a deeper bass. That one. That would be nice to feel that through a system, like body scan type shit. Yeah, man. So the drum programming is freaking perfect, man. It's so good. It stays interesting, different sounds, different choppiness. I would bring up the pad synths. Nice effects. There is space for a couple transitions and risers, and I mean, DnB can get really complex, so you don't have to go crazy with the risers and sweeps. Keep them kind of simple enough. I love that ride bell. Bow, 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 bow. Nice delay in there. Oh shit. Nice chops on that other beat. I'm wondering if the liquid synths are going to come back at the end. to make like that envelope of space around the beats. There we go. So those synth things, those could have come in a little bit earlier to kind of like give us like a pad out to the ending. I guess that's a creative decision though. Caesar, got your track for later. All right, that tail is cut off a little bit, but the main thing is to bring up the atmospheric synth layers because they're cool and they add a lot, and the beats are so upfront and crisp and loud that you're not going to lose anything by turning up these synths. And maybe you could do a little EQ on the beats around where that bell ride is, like 2.6K. That might be a little bit of like a to EQ slightly. But overall, that is freaking sounding great. Yeah, that's a rough mix. I love, so the details that Ed put in Discord, distortion on the sub bass. There's no compression on the mix so far. That's actually mixed really well with the beats like that. And he's going to add some risers and a little bit of transition sounds, which is going to make it done. And this is Rough Mix version 1. Like, how long did you spend programming the beats and getting them together? Because it sounds really good. It sounds like sampler music, too. It really does sound like little chopped up pieces with, like, one synth module doing the bass, one synth module doing the chords, and that's the whole track. So, good shit. Bring that back for Mix 2, maybe on Saturday. And that's definitely going to be close to done. And for anybody watching, even if you think it's a rough mix, don't cut off the tails at the end, because one of these days your rough mixes are going to be playable. Oh, and if a DJ is playing your track and that happens, there goes their whole mix, and they got to fade the new track in on top of it and sound like, oh shit. So cultivate the self-discipline to drag your loop brace a couple of rectangles beyond where you think the end of your track is to catch your reverb tails, and then you will not make a deadly fatal mistake of cutting off your tails. Oh yeah, and about the sub bass, what was really cool is how clearly we could see the sub bass way down, the bassline instrument way down in the sub bass frequency range, and then the kick drum was nice and tight around 100 hertz. So the two low end elements were separated in the frequency range. That works really well for drum and bass styles, to have your kick drum like a harder, tighter kick that's up high, compared to house and techno, where the kick is like the huge thing down on the bottom, and a lot of times we see the bass line up at like 200 hertz above it. So, all right, Ed is driving the school bus, taking us to school for breaks. Now, we got some masters to go through, right? Mr. Mindbender, speaking of mastering, so this is Mr. Melva's track. EQ is back to flat. And since we got a shit ton of tracks today, I'm not going to play through the whole thing. I just want to show off the mix quality and say how far it's come. So in this track, we can see the kick drum is down here, bumping around 55, and the bass line's above it. It's always a good idea to understand where your bass line is big, where your kick drum is big, so they're not competing. You're coming in pretty close on the Steely Dan vibe, I gotta say. And I remember in the original, we were talking about how to make the piano so it's not too bright. And I really like the piano is down in like the softer middle range, so the guitars have space above it. Burning, dude. Those drum rolls sounds great, Morten. I don't know how much work you did on it. It sounds like the mix was in good shape, and now it's just really like bright. Cymbal crashes on the transitions. There's a breakdown, right? Uptown, baby. Uptown, baby. Shepard is totally Sony Gran Turismo sound. Bass sounds very like authentic and natural. And here the piano is nice and up front. Yeah, good job getting the mid-range instruments all together. We put it down, baby. Okay, let's check the fade out at the end. That is cool. So Morten added a little more detail, warmer sound, extra width, and glued the low end together a little bit. Guitar had nice air on it. Yeah, more details. That's something you can get. More details and extra width. You know what's an interesting thing is if you have stereo effects like a stereo reverb and some stereo sounds lower in the volume in the mix, when you do compression, guess what? The lower, quieter stuff gets a little bit louder, which can make it feel wider because the stereo effects are getting louder and you become more aware of them. This is a really interesting thing about mastering and compression, that a compressor doesn't technically change the stereo image, but if it makes the stereo stuff louder relative to the mono stuff, you're perceiving a wider stereo image and getting more details at the same time. Hot tips. Telling you, dropping it down. All right, Snake Bender. Ben Zodiac. This is from a rock project you did that's outside your comfort zone, right? That's the theme of today, is getting uncomfortable like me when my freaking stream broke this morning. Or 45 minutes ago. Yeah, Todd, sounds great, man. Good job. That's a bugged out intro. I'm pushing it up.
And swim the zodiac tonight. We paint the sky in green and blue. And we return when time is due. Engines are roaring and gravity's shifting from side to side. Tensions rising, we're gearing to intergalactic flight. Shadows moving across the room in a different time.
There's a lot of guitar going on in here.
If you choose to respond, our love will materialize.
Drums sound great. That lead is nice on top. I'm gonna try something here with the low EQ. It's funny, with this kind of music, you can cut the bass out almost all the way out and it still sounds like banging rock.
We enter to the soul divine.
Watch the vocals.
To change the routings in our minds.
Under 1,000 in that 800 range.
Engines are roaring and gravity's shifting from side to side. Tensions
Just did a little boost to show the vocal and the guitars are nicely together. Okay. Craziness, man. Really good job with the guitars and mid-range and the vocal. The bass sounds heavier. I've heard a lot of records in this style that don't have anywhere near that much low bass. This almost feels like what you would get at the show with a system pushing the lows that are like. But I think for a lot of the music that people put out in this style, you could take the bass pressure out of this mix down a good number of dB and have even more guitars. Caesar. Snare and percussion cut through a little more. Shepard is mono right here. Side to side, stereo, mono. Oh, intergalactic flight, yay. I think in mono it brings out, listen to what the kick drum is doing. The kick feels like it has a long tail, like. And back to stereo. Morton, everything below 250 is in mono. Yeah, not bad. That is definitely some music for wearing black and kicking some ass with boots. Not actually kicking ass, but the first heavy metal concert I went to was Motley Crue, and Vince Neil came out on stage and he goes, "We're gonna kick some fucking ass tonight," and I was like, "Yeah." I'm not into beating people up, but if you're Vince Neil, you could say that. Caesar, I want to do a Rhythm of the Night techno cover sampled from a funny old lady from Mexico. Okay. Not sure what that sounds like. So yeah, is this where is this going out now? Is this part of another? Is this a track on a release with Ben Zodiac? Is Ben Zodiac a band, or I forget where this was coming from and where it's going. So I'm curious. The basic question is, what are the reference tracks you're gonna play this with, or what was this being compared to? Because it's definitely playable, and it sounds good, and it came along. So nicely done. Oh, you know what? Let me see if I can grab a link from Jens. Press the button. There we go. Pre-master version 2. Is this what we're playing today? That's Neon Dust V2. Did I get Neon Dust? Okay, so we're not playing that one. We are playing that one, and Meryl Viz, Mindbender, Demo T, Danets. Caesar's here. DJ Water. So Ian, we're going to put you at the end and go through techno to hardcore to take it out. I put together a set. It goes from slow beats up into other stuff. And before we do this one from Inora, that's Jens, I'm going to do a track for my friend Carolyn, who's on tour mixing sound with some bands right now, and she's making some fluty flute dubstep. Randy's here. What's happening? Thanks for hanging out. I'm so glad everybody's in here because I was worried about this morning. Mindbender, American Stoners rock label. Is the label called American Stoners? That's a great name. And Snakebender is the band. Oh, okay. That shit is serious. And I could see a show like that, a live show. Honestly, if I was mixing that band live, I would put the vocal more out front and probably have less bass, because most rock systems in a club, they're not tuned for sub bass like a dance music system. So it'd be all about the vocals coming through it. A lot of stoner rock bands, the vocals are like coming through the mix like that kind of shit. All right, so Let It Haunt You from Requiem Witch. About dubstep and flute. Good stereo field on that opening. Turning up broadcast level. That buzz on the bass with the reverb. I like that. Mid-range. Do you guys think the flute is loud enough? Ian, this is a friend of mine, Carolyn, who is an audio engineer and sound teacher and touring engineer, basically. And she plays flute. The bass is great. That sub note and the kick drum moving together. I think the flute could even come up a little bit based on how loud the low end is. I like those middle notes, how they're loud but not like shrill. They're soft sounding. Like soft texture but loud level in the mids. What was that little bleep up there? Hold on. Plink, plink. Two minutes and 30 seconds, little plink plink in the high frequency. Can those be louder with like a delay or reverb or something so they go up into space? That bass sound is nasty, look at that. It has that sound like a speaker driver being pushed out to the frame in the cone, like kick, kick, kick. Yeah, this sounds beautiful. That blink thing could be cool. What about the highs, right? Maybe this would come out in mastering, but maybe the hi-hats and the snap could be a little louder. The vibe is beautiful. Sound design is really good. And the organic, like the real flute just makes it great. Okay. So John Madison, speaking of ending with some bass, oh my God. It looks like the bass was heavy on the left at the end. I like how the sub got loud and took us out like, whoa, whoa, like how loud is it gonna get? I'm going to mono right here. And stereo. Yeah, we got to keep that low centered because it's clipping out on the left and getting weird. But I love it that if that's the last sound, the bass just gets louder and louder, like woof, 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 woof. Shepherd's is saying the ah-ah vocal needs to be louder, around 329. that. Wow, 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 Yeah, I agree. Let's find where is that sound earlier in the track. Right there. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I agree. That could be louder. Really nicely done. Nicely put together. DJ Waters, some sounds just need jacking up a bit. Don't we all? Matt Schultz, smooth and vibey. And Jens missing a little, just an ounce more. So, okay, I would compress the flute more, and the reason is these lower notes right here. The lower notes at the end of the phrase are much quieter than the peak. Watch the peak. Those high notes are louder, and the lower notes are like breathier and not as much coming through the mix. So, sorry, Carolyn, you got to compress your flute. And that might be something to do for everybody else to do technically with long release time so it doesn't sound squashed, and you don't want to create a transient on the front of a soft flute sound. So I would do a long attack time, like 4-to-1 ratio, bring the threshold down enough that almost all the notes are getting hit and those high pitched notes are getting really clamped, and then do your makeup gain so that the quieter parts are leveled upwards, and then go to another compressor like 10-to-1 or a limiter to make sure you're not actually spiking with the peaks. And that way we can hear all of the flute instead of just hearing some of the flute. Because people that are only playing half the flute probably been slacking off at band camp, and you know what I mean? I think Carolyn actually did go to marching band camp. I think she's a marching band flute player who got struck with dubstep bass and never came back. Shepard's first time the flute came in, it was a touch too loud. So that would fix that if it was compressed differently to keep the volume leveled. Caesar, that's definitely a sax. I mean, definitely a flute. What am I saying? Yeah, flute. Cool. Beautiful music. Yeah, I love the range of music we're getting today, from breakbeats and heavy metal to ambient stuff and all kinds of stuff. So, Carolyn, flute compression, center the bass in the low end at the end, bring up the ooh-ah vocals a little bit louder, maybe take the percussion up a bit, or that could happen in mastering, and send us another version. So I forget where we were in the order, so I'm just going to go from where we are. 1 o'clock. Let me know if I missed your track, and I'll try and get to it. Here we go. Version 2, Neon Dust, EQ flat, stereo, and play. Good intro. I like how all the sounds are moving right from the beginning. Stuff is like meow. I think the kick drum can still come up a bit and the sub bass down a little bit. The pulse is there, but the kick feels a little weak. Boom, 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 right? Especially if you want to have this in the techno genre, it's got to be like when the kick comes in, like doof, doof. So we're at like 114. The way the low end feels now, it keeps you on like a half tempo, like heartbeat at half tempo. And if you bring the kick up, you would be at double time. So that might be a feel question. If you like it feeling like this pulse kind of feel, then you could leave the mix the way it is with the low end. High frequency feels good. It's bright, but it's not too much. Okay, so you got some artist feedback, and so that's on purpose. Okay. I like this part. Pre-master, yeah. That was that one hi-hat sound, yep. Shepard is clipping on the kick, right? Nice effects. Overall, it's sounding good. This could be done if this is how the creative decision is on the low-end mixing. That's the way to do it. Alex B, yes, the movement on the dark synth. That's like the first thing I noticed from the intro is that the synths are moving right away. And that clap is nice and dark too. Yeah, good sound design. It has like a goth kind of feel to me, like almost like industrial. Yeah, version 2, I think this one could be done. If you're happy with the low end and the clap and everything that is fitting the style and the genre, I don't want to push you into a different mix picture than what you want to do for it. I like that clap. It's dark and distant and just heavy in the middle. Ah, good. You did not cut off the tails. Great. Nice outro. Hey, I think that's done. That feels cool. It throws me off. I would not use the word techno to label this. I would call it like new wave or something that doesn't make people expect the 4/4 straight techno beat. That's really, I think, the source of my drum comments. Claps for everyone. Trying to make a dark clap. Okay, instead of listening to me clapping my hands, Randy, tell me, was pink hair the right link? I'm not positive, and before I play it, let's do it. Todd, Mr. Melvis, we're gonna save the Awakening for Saturday because we played a bunch of your tracks already, and there's some more people coming in that I want to get to. So remind me, please help me remember that because I'm not gonna type a note right now. Let's do Mindbender right here, and Randy, let me know if Pink Hair is the right track, and we'll play that next. Matt, Synthwave. Yeah, thank you. Synthwave, Darkwave, something like that. That's definitely the Mindbender kick. Oh, Randy, thank you. Okay, so you're up next. That bass line feels like... That vocal's amazing. I like the grit on the vocal.
This morning I woke up, drew the curtains, left daylight outside, sit down on the sofa, had a cup of tea, then absorbed all the warmth in my mind. I counted each and every one of my blessings, then thanked me for maintaining a right frame of mind. Enjoy the gratefulness.
Okay, bass line could be a little louder right here.
Of another day, I've survived.
Hold on. When the bass line first came in, I thought Pixies, the band. And the bass line can be louder. Especially
I had some me time.
the metallic fret noise part of the bass that's up higher. You can see it around 1K. Right there. So if you could bring up the metallic part of this bass line, then later when the synth comes in, that synth is not going to fight against the bass. Those will work together around 1,000 really well. And I think it'll help to have the brightness of the bass right here with the voice too. It's like all in there. And dude is telling a cool story too. It's like, wow, he's going on a journey. Cup of tea on the couch, right? Beat is solid.
I put all my fears behind me. Oh yeah.
That little snare fill could be louder.
Oh yeah.
Caesar, kind of a Roixop vibe. Yeah, I agree. It's like deep and slow and like groovy too.
Get in touch with the voices. It's the cure my spiritual. I pondered
Okay.
people's criticisms.
Ooh.
I had some me time.
I like this new instrument.
I had some me time.
Ooh, tambourine little here, right here.
Lost all the people. Hate. Anyone that's ever tried to block me. Each one that's not necessary. I had some me time.
Yeah,
Time. Me time.
yeah. Okay. I don't know, Shepherds. I think the kick drum has enough punch right here. I'm feeling it in headphones at least. Good beats, drum programming, drum sounds, drum mix, all that is totally good. I would put the bass line up a little bit louder. And honestly, I felt as a listener, the track is so good by itself, it could exist with no vocal. So this is something where you could have an A side and a B side with the vocal mix and the instrumental mix, or 3 tracks with the a cappella by itself that you could mix on top of other beats. And
Oh yeah.
where was that new sound? Yeah. I want to hear that new keyboard thing enter. Was that like an organ?
Dreamed. Meditated on all the things.
I would take some low end out of that new organ sound because it's in the way of the bass guitar. Some of the lower frequencies in that new sound are masking the bass line, and I don't think you need those lower frequencies. because it's cool. It's like
No better than a thief in the night. Couldn't be found when my pockets were light.
kind of a minor difference, but it'll focus. If the bass line's coming up louder, it'll focus that sound a little bit to the mids and not have it be like, oh, oh, oh.
People's criticisms. I had some me time.
Yeah. Other than that, that little chicka chick chicka chick. Percussion is cool. Percussion's coming and going. Arrangement is great. It stays interesting. Sounds are good. Sounds fit together. Basically, it's just a thing about the bass line and a little bit of tweaks in the frequency range of that other synth. And we're good. Cool. Yeah, that is a nice track. Enjoy your plinky plonk meal, Ian. What are you guys talking about? Ian's getting takeout. I'm drinking coffee. Mindbender's mixing bass. That is a cool track. The vocals, the vocal has this distortion and grit and closeness where you feel like there's somebody talking to you. It almost feels like, I gotta think of the reference. There's like a person who's a storyteller who is a famous voice that I'm not sure of. But until that enters my brain, which may never happen, let's listen to Randy Adams. Yeah, boy. It might be William S. Burroughs. His spoken word stuff where he's talking about his life. Gravel, that's the word. A gravelly voice is what we say in English, where it's like a smoker or something. We got 6 minutes. We above 130 on this? I think that open hi-hat could be louder. Let's see where it goes though. Oh wow, Max is here. Thoughtform Max. Monday, Mad Bar, Synth Jam. That's a cool bass. Oh, oh, oh. The percussion is super cool. It's like, look at that bass. Yeah, man. Okay, so I would bring up the open hi-hat to get it just a little brighter and more like, I'm gonna go on the board and EQ a bit right here. That's just like 2 dB or something. I like all this synths. Really nice in the middle. I like the extra snare drums. Totally dance floor ready. Feels like there's room for like a riser or something going on around here. Some kind of airy. Yeah, totally. That was perfect. The reverb got bigger and the sound went right up into the air and filled that upper space. I like what this part did right here. I think you could even take the reverb tail longer so the reverb overlaps and gets like washier right here. Great, great, great. That was good. And right here, it still feels simple, you know? Sheppers, all right, see you later on Discord. Yeah, I hear a new sound that's going together. With just enough new sound, not getting in the way. That was super cool. Good little transition. That's that thing. Cut out the kick drum, drop it back in. All right, cool. I want to point out something that's really strong in this track is that this synth right here is holding like the theme or something. And the whole track has simplicity where we hear that one sound, then we hear a new sound start coming in, and then here, the new sound takes over and the fast one goes away. So we don't have a clash of two different synths or like a battle for the attention. And then it comes back. So the point is that you did a good job to keep the simplicity and not have too many synths at the same time. That little vocal sample can be louder. Definitely vocal louder. This is almost done. It's playable right now. Bass is beautiful. Yeah, that little vocal, please make that louder. That's a fun sound. Great, Randy. 99% done. Couple of little mix tweaks. And that one's going to be finished. Good sound. Congas, bass, low end, very cool. Overall, the best thing about it is for me, it just has the simplicity where it gets going. From the very beginning, you know what you're going to get. And then it develops and changes enough so it stays interesting. Kind of just delivers the beat. Everybody shakes, Danette style. Oompa, oomp, oomp, oomp. I like this. Good little rhythm. I'll leave the volume here. I suspect he's gonna drop some more sounds. Whoop, whoop. Total Danats. Coming with the hi-hat. There we go. lost in the disco type samples. Yes. That low end came in a little wubby. If that was a cymbal crash, it could be a lot louder on there to really announce that drop. I like this sound. It's like a little bubble sound. And there we go, dropping it. This part feels solid in the groove. That's a good transition sound. That little crackle thing. Could you put that sound here? Coming into that one, I think that would help. Slamming beats, that's for sure. It's good the disco sample thing is gone. Beats, bass, and little vocal chops, okay? At this part, there's a mid-range synthy kind of thing. That almost sounds like an acid lead. It would be cool if that sound gets louder. Yeah. And this new guitar kind of thing is a little too soon. Right here where the voices fade out, if you took that one little bleepy sound and filtered it and made it like a lead, you could have this like trippy acid bubble house thing. And that's enough. The guitar sample that comes in here, right there, is also good, but it's a little too soon because that bubble sound is still really cool. Matt Schultz, yeah, I agree with that. Musically done, just the right amount of busyness and groove and story. You know, that part at 4:30, if you filter the shit out of this bubble lead sound and go all the way out to 4 minutes and 30, then here at this break, and then remove the guitars, right? Save the guitar. At 4:03, don't bring the guitar in yet. Save it for this breakdown. 4:34, then start introducing the guitar with that vocal, and you'll have like this really funky James Brown disco ending. And you can use that lead sound a lot more with a filter thing in the middle of the track. My opinion. Oh my God, totally. If the guitar is still kind of new at this part and you're dropping that beat, that's gonna be great. So 4:03, cut the guitar. Yeah. Do more filtering the bleep bleep. Leave the guitar for the later part. 100% Donat style. Totally. Then the guitar is like the main character for the ending last final minute. Cool. That's one of my favorite things about track feedback is finding a place where there's like, you can remove one sound, take one other sound up to the front and just get more juice out of it so you're not like wasting it, I guess. Like when you bring in a new sound too soon, the other sounds get pushed out of the way and it's like, oh, it's too busy or something. And also, what is that bass tone? That's great. All that mid-range in the bass, it's like a buzzing. Look at that. DJ Waters is chewing on the beat. Cool vibe, nice funky house. Yeah, just so Adam, when you're building, don't be afraid to like strip out sounds and have long breaks where you keep one sound and filter it and tweak it more rather than just throwing a new sound on top and a new sound on top and a new sound on top again and again and again. Cool, good stuff. That'll be done after the next mix. Is Tice still here? Got the big D. Levy Mode House. What do you got? EQ flat, stereo wide, and play. Pew. All right, good. We're going into the techno world now. Straight out of funky house, back into the chugga chugga. Nice and dark too. Too bad Shepherds left. I got some Shepherds, don't we? No, we don't have Shepherds today, but almost. Just close that. I like the feel in this track.
Mommy, Daddy, look at me. I went to school and I got a degree. All my friends call it the 50. I went to school and I got the big D. 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 I got the big D.
Okay, I would move the vocal timing to make it like I got the big D. I got the big D. Could we shift the vocals so they're really
Daddy, look at me. I went to school and I got a degree.
like I went to school, I got the degree. Like really chop the vocal and put it on the beat.
Mommy, Daddy, look at me. I went to school and I got a degree. All my friends call it the 50. I went to school and I got the big D.
Yeah, if you could chop the lyrics to put them totally on the beat, it would be so hypnotic.
I got the big D.
Yeah,
I got
I got the big D. It's so funny vocal.
I got the big D.
Yeah, I got the big D. I got the big D. People are gonna love this. Deep and dark with this weird vocal about school, and like her tone of voice is like, I got my degree and I could not give a fuck at all. Here comes the lead. This is sick, man.
Is your muffin buttered? Would you like us to assign someone to butter your muffin? Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, you over there on the chaise long in your underwear. What are you doing sitting down? You should be horizontal now.
Oh, perfect.
I got the big D.
I got the big D. I got the big D. Yeah, have the okay. So in the verses where she's telling this fucked up story, like it's cool to have the lyrics off the beat, and then when the chorus comes in, have the chorus just be totally locked in.
Horizontal now.
because the beat is like totally for sure keeping you in it.
Over there on the shades long in your underwear.
And I just like the sound of her voice, so it's good that this part is out a little bit. When that ride comes in, people gonna sing along and have t-shirts like, I got the big D.
I got the big D. I got the big D. I got the big D.
And the joke is like, I got the big dick, you know?
I got the big D.
Okay, I can see right already it's not gonna be, we're gonna want more of this track, like 5 or 6 minutes. I like what you're doing right here. If we can have a part where that synth gets really acid, filtery, like that. I got the big D. Yeah. That track is crazy. I got the big D. So I think you got the big advice. Big D is in town. I got the big D. Yeah. At least in the US, if they're like, you're going to get the D later, it's like, you're going to get fucked later. You're going to get the dick. So that's a really funny vocal. Really good emotional presentation in the tone of voice and the sound and the way the voice fits on top of the beat. The beat is very clacky, right?
Mommy, Daddy, look at me.
A lot of people are going to be playing this track. Alex B, right? I want to copy right away. Cool, man. Give this another rework. Bring it out with like 6 minutes. Change the vocal a bit so some of it is like a chorus. It's really on the beat. I got the big D, and then let the other part drift in and out of time.
I got the big D. I got the big D.
There's one.
I got the big D.
It's like, I got the big D. Ugh.
I got the big D.
Yeah.
I got the big D.
I love it when vocals are just not technically perfect at all. It's like, who cares what mic it was recorded on, and you can hear breath and all this stuff. And then overall, the track is cool, man. Jigga, 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 jigga. Bye. Come back next week. I hate to press stop, but yeah, Ian, exactly. A track as simple and funny as this will definitely be a success for sure, man. Get this done. Let us play the shit out of it. And Perceptor Master 3. I was like Perception Storm? What the hell am I reading? Here we go. I got the big D. I'm gonna be saying that forever now. Oh, this is beautiful. Is it like dreamy and bass? Yeah, man. Good drop. Yeah, man. Okay, that lead synth is getting a little bit on top of the beat. The high frequency of it is a little louder than where the beats are. So I like how it moves, but it just got a little bit loud right there. Maybe you could have a limiter on that. Beats are solid, bass is sounding good. second snare drum is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit late. That second ta-ta. Yeah, ta-ta. The second one, a little bit earlier. Great atmosphere, oh my God. It really makes me feel like I'm waiting. I'm like, oh, it's about to happen. I'm gonna get the big D. It's coming. Yeah, this is good where it gets nice and loud. Okay, the lower synth that's like that was not quite on time. Like this pausing thing felt very much like the beat is still going. But something got a little bit like away from the metronome thing. Okay, this new one. That new one. Those two synth parts are not quite locked in, like quantized. I would take that newer one that comes in and really get it together with the first one so that we can still hear. And right here it gets a little lost. So quantize the new MIDI on it. And there's a snare rush. Yeah. And then you get the big D. Nice and wide too. Those snare drums are good. Yeah. Oh wow, 7 minutes, cool. Good break, good moment. I like that stereo tick. All right, Max, thanks for coming. See you later. Come down on Monday to Mad Bar if you can. Bring the beat back. Around 520, a little hi-hat coming in, keep the rhythm going, would help. Wait, does the beat come back? Feels like it's been too long since the beat dropped out. Okay. And there's one snare drum that's late on there. Coming up right here. But like at 606. So quantizing the snares and getting them super on the beat every time is really important. So people don't go throwing like, out. And where did the, okay, so from 441, count out like 16 bars and then bring a closed hi-hat back in. So we have that, just to like, that'll make it really exciting to have this swirly synth effects thing and a big kick drum and some beats layering up. Let's check the ending. This synth, do-do-do, faded out kind of fast. Oh, that was not an ending. That was a cutoff. All right, so the main thing is there are just some micro timing situations in here with some snare drum double hits and then some synths coming in that are not locked in the groove and some other snares. So it feels like you could spend some more time on the percussion to get really tightened up so it's totally in the groove and you don't even notice any little differences. And then in this ending section, about 2/3 of the way through, it sort of goes into what becomes the ending of the track, like an outro. And I actually thought it was going to be a breakdown and the bass line was going to come back in. So please do some more drum programming in the last 1/3 so that when we're in that long stretch with just kick drum and atmospheric synths, those two sounds are really cool. Just put in some hi-hats and percussion layers to keep the groove going into the end of the track, and that'll be good. So that DJ Waters can push the button and we can give him the big D. I got the big D. And Tice, if you're still watching, can we all have that acapella vocal? Whatever processing is on it, if you could share that with us and let us chop it up, it'd be awesome. Yeah, Caesar, I hear you. The acid part, a little hard to integrate. All right, good. And the rest of the show is DJ Waters. A lot of cool vocals today. We can all get the big D. Nice mix so far. Kick drum is all big and beautiful by itself, and the synth is like taking control. Nice wide vocals. Maybe the hi-hats could come up a bit, you know? Oh, I like that. That hat and clap. There's some interesting sound design going on the sides here. I'm going mono. And wow. Okay, we could use a kick drum dropout coming up right here maybe, and let that acid synth run. Okay, maybe 234, cut the kick drum for a while, and let us have a space of just acid filter. Yeah, you're going in the right direction. This has just a couple elements that all sound good together. Arrangement wise, we could use a place where the kick drum drops out so that we can bring it back in again with the hi-hat and the clap from over here. Yeah, when they came in, listen to how the hi-hat and clap come in right here. At 129, that's like really good. So if you go out to like 2.5 minutes, cut the kick drum, and then when the kick comes back in, hit that hi-hat snare thing like this. This is great. And this is gonna be a Mindbender mastering, right? For the acid style. And I noticed that a lot of the Mindbenders, the acid world, the lead is really a lot brighter, and the hi-hats are actually like subdued in the mix. So I think your mix picture is pretty good. This is freaking nasty, man. Oh, the cover image. I got my output, my broadcast levels meter on top of the picture. So good, good. Yeah, man. At this part, you could cut the main lead and really go with those bleeps as like a central thing, because the kick drum and the bleep things. Or take the acid lead and filter it way down so you have that bass line kind of bubbling and all the little bleepy shit. At that section, you know how a lot of times around this part of the track, like 3/4 of the way through, there's that thing of just only bass line and beats with like all the melody and harmony stripped out. So right here for variation, filter down the acid layer and let these bleepy things on the sides just totally take over as the loudest part. And then we got that synth for the ending. Yeah. The stereo field is crazy in this. Dirty. All right. Very, really, 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 really good. I like it. I like how you're going in. So the technique is like, what did you have? Like 11 tracks and you just decided to go in and export all of them as mixes and get them all done. That's cool. Sometimes it's if you have like production paralysis or you can't finish one track because you're going way too deep on the details, sometimes it actually helps to work on 10 tracks because you open it up, hear one difference, fix it, export, go to the next track, and do like 45 minutes per song. And then you can get a ton of mixes done in a day. And then when you listen to them later, you'll realize, wow, these are actually a lot closer to being done. But if you take one song and spend 10 hours working on every tiny little detail, you're not happy with it and you have 9 unfinished songs. Yeah. Caesar, you're right that it is cool to let percussion drift. It depends on which ones. Usually snare drums are so important in the groove that they should be kind of like exactly the same on the grid. And the ones that can drift can be like hi-hats pushing and pulling against it, or hand percussion definitely, where it's like a little bit late and a little bit early. But the main anchor that you're getting signals from the beat should be consistent. So Ian, basically, yeah, if you can remember everything I just said or watch the replay, have a section where the kick drum cuts out and then have a section where the lead filters down and the side stereo bleeps get bigger, and then we can push the button and you can get the big D. Now, when it comes to domination, we all know the person we want to learn from. Where's Sheppers? Man, Ian, you're going to have a pretty good little techno set coming together if you get all these tracks done. I like that hi-hat. It's nice and bright on top of the... has a nice up and down feel. And that synth bass. Really good rhythm in this one. Is that a vocal? I spend most of my time making kicks. Okay, I want to get through all these 3 tracks before today, so I don't want to spend all the time on them. Oh my god, that sounds good. You know, my honest reaction on this one is that you could wait longer to introduce the vocal samples and let the rumble and the beats take the whole track. Because there's a lot of samples and stuff on top that almost took me out of like the depth of that grinder groove, like that rumble. So in this case, simplifying the track could mean having longer sections of just the rumble and beats without a lot of like extra vocal story thing on top. Maybe. Low end is feeling good. That's pretty loud. Good little wispy riser, there you go. That high, this part is so cool right here with no other vocals or lyrics. Some of those, it's like there's too much extra stuff on top of the beat. Maybe that's just me though. Because people could get like really into this beat. No, it doesn't become boring. No, people get really into it. That's good. I really like the way you're using vocals as instruments. Okay, I think the mix on this one is pretty solid and it will be ready for mastering. The main thing I want to comment on, I guess, is the arrangement that I know you have your total own personality and structure and style of making beats and everything. For me, when you're doing something at this 130 tempo with that rumble groove that's possible to play in a set, it's okay to have it stripped down and let it be more about the music and the beats and have the vocals and samples be an extra little thing at certain moments, but not like a continually all the way through the track to always have vocals and snippets happening, in my opinion. But it's up to you. So let's move on to the next track. That one sounds pretty good. I think version 3 will be ready for mastering. And if you don't want to give me the D, I don't have to get the D for that track. Oh my God. Yes. And Dark Bells version 1 was earlier in the winter, right? Is that the same? You really did an amazing job to adapt to a new mix style for these techno grooves with the kick and the rumble bass. Yeah, man. That vocal is great. Yeah. And that one sound was a little bit too loud. What was that? That, a minute 10 was a little bit too loud. Not a problem, but a little too loud. Okay, so Jens Inora is saying a bit more minimalism. I think for this genre, it is more of a minimal type of genre, so you just don't have to, like, you have great sounds, but you don't have to use them all the time. That's the feel. That bubbly shit is great. I like those. Low end mix is really good. That click is a little bit loud. Could come down a little bit. That vocal is so good in here. Do we get to hear the vocal with the beats? That would be awesome. There we go, the bass drop. Good, good, good. Yeah. I'm feeling that. Is that the same level? Okay, when the main kick drum comes in after those dive bomb basses, the main drop feels quieter. So I love what the dive bass is doing, but don't let it be more powerful than the main kick drum. Yes. Right here. That's what I was thinking. The female vocal with that groove, just deadly. Yeah, bring down the level of those bass bombs a little bit so that the kick still feels big. This is so good right here. Yes, that slurp sound and the vocal and the bass, exactly what I wanted to hear. And that fast clicky needs to come down a little bit. All right, all right. This sound is cool. Yes. Good space right here. It's still kind of grooving, like subtle. Yep. hear that offbeat hi-hat. All right, I hear what you're doing there. That offbeat hi-hat doesn't work for me in this style. This kind of roller is really all about like jigga digga 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 digga. Good ending with that voice and the bells. Yeah, be careful which elements of a Frenchcore production you have overlapping into this techno production, because some of the things that you do are really awesome, like the kicks and the tails and the layers and the grinding, buzzing thing. But some of the elements are a little too chaotic, like the off-tempo hi-hats and chopped up voice samples constantly or at like unexpected times. So I hate to say it, but sometimes the template and doing a genre format does help to make it more, somebody said hypnotic, where you can sink into it and you just get like digga 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 digga, and like really get into that chugga chugga thing without having too many sounds that pull you like out of that thing, because that could make people feel frustrated. I forget sometimes I'm making techno, not Frenchcore. But man, your production has really, really come a long way. It sounds right from the first instant. I'm just like, yes, freaking feels good. And then here, when you bring in the vocal, is so good. So watch out for that bass thing. And if you want an extra special bonus, could you put beats on this part at the end of the track where it's like, use this as a kick drum with the chugga 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 chugga. That would work if you wanted to have a section of that doo 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 being the main kick drum with the chugga chugga. Could be. But anyway, it's already playable. We're talking about relatively minor stuff that could change, and it sounds pretty good. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. All right, last track for the day. It's the beginning. Oh, 3 minutes. I like the stylistic thing of having like these beautiful instrumental vocals and sounds and then putting them together with like slamming beats. All right, I'm not gonna touch the master. Let's see what happens. Nice. So good. And this is the style where you just go totally wherever you want and it's gonna be good. Look at that frequency line. It's all just like, wow. I really like the scratchiness on the peep part of the kick. Flying. Such a good contrast. That bass note could be louder. There it is. Nice low end to go with those strings.
The beginning!
Yeah, man. The beginning! Nice. Blowing in the mic. Okay, at this part, in here, there's a really nice bass element that goes with the strings. That's really good. But over here, the strings come in and it feels like that bass element is still in this part. So right here, it should be like only high frequency strings without the drone part, if you could. And then when the beats drop out, let that low bass part come in. Because I could feel here the bass got a bit chaotic. So don't have that bass drone happening when the kick drum is happening. What a pretty ending. I got the big D.
The beginning.
Where was that track? Feels. I wanted to hear the big D again, but maybe not. All right, Ian, good shit. I think I hope I gave you enough notes to work on for your updated mixes, and that's going to be it for today. Legendary 2-hour review. I don't know how many we're going to have for Saturday. I skipped Mr. Melvis, and maybe people have some other updates. And I am ready to drink some water and get my voice back. But if anybody out there is getting ready for some track feedback, go to patreon.com/mixatexture for the track feedback crew, $25 a month to get 2 streams per week of reviews on your mixes and updates, which really can help you pull forward and get your tracks finished and released and mastered and published. So that's what's going on. And Saturday, I'll have some news on the Mixatexture label, as well as what I was doing at the beginning of today when my freaking stream crashed was you can look forward to some new live streams during the week when I do more tutorials and show you applied techniques of how I produce tracks using the techniques I'm talking about all the time with EQing and compression and sidechaining and stereo and everything. So, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for hanging out and watching all the way to the end. And what's really fun for me is to show you how I produce tracks and pull little lessons together to give you techniques you can use and make project packs where you can actually download some of the music, some of the Ableton stuff, and go through the lesson yourself and actually learn by doing it inside live, which can be like a session lesson where the lesson's built into the project, or it can be a project with a video tutorial where we talk about EQing and sidechaining or sound design and synths, modulators, LFOs. There's so much fun stuff to do, and I try to basically do all of it all the time, and you can look forward to that. Matt Schultz, yes, get yourself in the kitchen, you're hungry. Not like Ian Waters chowing down during the live stream, eating in class. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for staying with me when the stream gets interrupted, as it does sometimes beyond my control. I will see you on in Discord and on Saturday. And that's it for now.